On February the 14th, 1944, the Second Weltkrieg ended, and with it the crippling Reichspakt hegemony in Europe. Kaiser Wilhelm III had gone into exile and was last reported to be on a ship to Saigon, taking refuge in the last former German colony overseas. Russian and Persian combat divisions were being withdrawn from Africa, where they had fought tenaciously for the past years, and the former colonial possessions had been liberated, with government powers transferred to new civilian governments. It would be up to them now to deal with reforms, reconciliation, and to build new prosperous nations out of the colonial ashes. Germany was to be broken up, such as to never again grow the power to threaten peace in Europe. What remained of the High Seas Fleet, after militias of the Spanish Socialist Republic had tried to confiscate them in port, had been scuttled in a final act of defiance off the coast near Bilbao. All over Eastern Europe, victory parades were held and Russian troops honored as liberators. New republican governments sprung to life, carrying the hopes and ambitions of the peoples who had been living under foreign oppression for many years. The Moscow Accord would provide security, and membership in the Moscow Economic Council guaranteed economic aid, trade and investment opportunities for the Herculean task to rebuild after decades of neglect and war. Russia, having achieved her goals, found herself as the leader of the largest military alliance in the world, and a symbol of liberty and democracy, yet much work remained to be done, as the country under the young Tsar Vladimir III would come to terms with her new role on the global stage. In his office in Petrograd, Admiral Boris Petlayakovich, head of the Research and Design Division, looked out of his window with pride, seeing ships of the Baltic Fleet return from their successful action in the North Sea and the Bay of Biscay. Russia, in her new role as a world power, was in dire need of a modern navy. Some of the ships were well past their service life. He rubbed his hands in anticipation. It had taken a world war to get the Admiralty to see his point, but better late than never. Much work is indeed to be done. We still have wars in the world, specifically the Chinese-Japanese conflict, and the American-British war isn't over yet either. We have to come to terms with the remnants of the Third International. So we're looking at the factions. The Entente has taken over West Africa, as well as a much enlarged Portugal, France, Ireland, while the Spanish socialists have re-emerged after the fall of Germany, and together with Norway and Britain, maintain the remnants of that particular alliance. And obviously the co-prosperity sphere, after having suffered severe losses in the member territories, still wages an aggressive war against the fractured states of China. And as such, it is in Russian interest to potentially deal with this situation in one way or another, especially that an aggressive Japan had cancelled the non-aggression pact with Russia. We also have to demobilize a fair amount of troops because we are clearly no longer in a world war and have to focus now on modernizing the army, the air force and the navy for the world power that Russia is to be. But we also have territory still to deal with because there are a fair few swathes of land that we currently control that should not be directly under Russian control, but should be part of the newly forming regional governments. So let's begin with that, because I think we have a relatively long list to go through. So Albania, we are controlling parts of Albania that need to be returned. Anything that's not a Russian core will be returned to Albania. We will do the same with Prussia. So everything that Prussia technically controls will be now extended. We'll do the same with the Netherlands. The newly formed republic will take care of these lands. Anything that we occupy that falls under Italian jurisdiction goes back to them. And the Northern German Federation will take whatever it was that I didn't see anything change, but whatever it was. Poland, apparently we're still holding lands belonging to Poland. So, yep, Republic of Poland will be restored. The same goes for Bulgaria. The Romanian lands will be returned, and the Serbian lands will be returned as well. And with that, I think I have completed at least completed the game's particular parts. Now, there are a fair few pieces of land here that I may have to deal with in different ways, because obviously the game hasn't completely allowed me to do this. So I can invite everybody, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to invite everybody to the Moscow Economic Council. That is only having positive effects, because we do have a lot of rebuilding to do. And we do need to do something with the remaining lands that are currently occupied by Russian forces. And we'll see if any further events are coming up. But for now, anything that isn't currently associated with any of the states is going to be under Russian occupation until we can find ways to liberate them. We have obviously a diverse amount of troops all around that need to return home. The 15th Army, that has been fighting valiantly under Vasilevsky, that will be disbanded, and the local troops can decide if they want to sign up with the regional governments, given the experience that they have, or if they wish to return to Russia. So we're going to be disband this army. We've got the foreign troops. They will all need to return to their respective. Are they all? I think some of them are still at sea. So I am not entirely certain why we are going. Well, we're going here now, but I think we'll bring them all. Everything that's at sea will be brought back, and we will return these to their respective governments, because there's no need for us to hold these. The Marines are going to. We're going to bring the Marines. I think, where are we going to station the Marines for now? They might actually be redeployed to Asia. So I might bring them to near Vladivostok for now. So the Marines will transfer to the other end of the continent for potential future actions in the area. We've got the 18th Army that is currently nearing Moscow, and will there be resting over the winter. Nothing to be taken here from the general, so we're still working on all of these things. And obviously, you are now in the European theater, no longer in the whole African theater will no longer be the case. So this army will return. And the 17th under Batutin now becomes part of the Asian theater. Now in Europe, we obviously clearly have way too many armies that will need to be reduced. So let's begin with all the troops. The Third Army under Prepelayev will be demobilized. And these troops will probably, except for the Guards divisions, we'll see if we have some other use for them, but they will be demobilized. We've got the valiant 9th Army under Shatilov. We might leave these for now. We've got Kanzin's 7th Army, very, very experienced troops. Well, we'll see what we do with those. And we have Drozdovsky's 8th Army, also very experienced troops. Well, we are going to have to demobilize something. So I'm almost wondering if I might exclude the most experienced troops and then reorganize them into other forces. So we'll keep the most experienced divisions around, but the rest of them will be demobilized. And that should significantly reduce the amount of troops in Europe. And then we will see what's remaining. Everything that is remaining probably is going to become a guards division, just out of principle. And we will go and reorganize these troops accordingly once I'm through with demobilizing those that need to. So let's do that. We've got Stefan's 6th Army with 16 tank divisions. Obviously, these troops are the pinnacle of the Russian armed forces, and they will remain. And the same goes for the 12th Army's special forces, although they can probably be somewhat reduced. So we might reduce their overall number somewhat. So we don't need that many of them. We've got the 14th Army that can remain, also special forces. Grishkin's troops that are currently guarding the ports. They cannot be disbanded, and that is because it's some form of cavalry division. So I might have to do a focus or a decision to deal with those. We've got Witkowski's troops currently guarding Finland. There is no longer a need for them, so we will disband this army. And we've got the Letvitov's 16th, and I think except for the most experienced troops, these divisions will be demobilized as well. There we go. So we're down to a lot less than that, but it probably hasn't registered yet. So we'll begin reorganizing these troops into new army groups, and significantly reduce the overall number. Field Marshal Markov still has a trait that we can take. I think Logistics Wizard is always welcome. Or one of the planning parts, but I'm going to start with Logistics Wizard first. So Markov has got that. We've got Govorov of the 14th. Anything relevant? No, it's just Guerrilla Fighter. And with that, I think that is the majority. Now, the old Egyptian destroyers that were operating in Africa, they can. We'll send them back to. We'll send them homewards, but they might probably be eventually decommissioned. So we'll bring them back to port, and the overall naval production is going to have to change. So for once, we are potentially having trade routes to organize. So there are still. First of all, we're going to slow down the production of all these ships. We'll finish ships that are currently under construction, but then we will be looking at making some significant changes to the overall layout of the naval forces and the naval reorganization. We are probably going to be needing an Indo-Pacific fleet as well as an Atlantic fleet, and that's going to be that. So we're going to have a significant amount of equipment laying around at some point. And we probably can also begin conversion. How many civilian factories? We've got actually enough civilian factories. We'll see after all the land has been dealt with. Then we'll see how many factories we're going to have around. All right, what else do we have? We can. Okay, this is just land redistribution, but we do need to deal with the Ukrainian resistance situation. Ideally, I was hoping that we had an opportunity to liberate Ukraine, because that was part of the deal. But I'm going to see if the game gives me the option after a while, and then we'll get to that. Okay, but for now we have to deal with the security situation in Ukraine. So let's see what that's all about. So currently we have we have activity around activity around Kiev by the looks of it. So we can launch anti-partisan operations, but for that we actually need to deploy some divisions there. That should not be a problem. We can do that without too many issues. And eventually we need to get compliance over 60%, and that way we could put an end to the organized Ukrainian resistance and make sure that they are not going to cause any further trouble for Russia. I'm going to have to check where we still hold. We still hold territory. Unfortunately, I can't release nations by hand due to game rules, so I might have to deal with I might have to release things as might have to release things via console if the game doesn't give me the option, because I do want to begin liberating the European states, but there are also still a few focuses that I need to deal with. So we are going to demobilize. Obviously, right now we've got a lot of manpower available, but we don't want to get back to. We eventually want to get back to a civilian economy. We do want to get towards free trade and towards a limited conscription, or potentially a volunteer army, depending on what that looks like. So that is the goal from here on out. We have too many military factories, although that's probably partially due to occupied territory. So I don't necessarily want to begin with that yet. Go and see for a little bit if what the situation is going to look like. For now, we have to complete the Linkor program, and that will after that we will see. And after that, we will see what focus we can take. Meanwhile, Italy has been united. The head of the Consiglio della Federazione Italiana, or the Federation Council, Marcello Visconti di Modrone, declared that Italy had finally been reunified and made whole. Our reunification has come about at great cost, he told the cheering crowd in Rome, and we must remember the sacrifices made by so many. Grievances of the past must be put aside, and we must be grateful that our nation has come through such a troubled time and found itself once more. There is still much grumbling within the country at the amount of power held by the council, and that in many ways Italy has returned to its aristocratic roots rather than embracing democracy, but for most this time of unity has brought a great deal to celebrate. So yes, the federation, that was intentional, just given they do need a leader to rally behind because of the prevailing civil wars that have preceded the whole thing. So that's done. What do we need political power for? We could still subjugate Finland. I'm going to untick that for now. We do eventually have to deal with the Cossacks and their privileges that we have ignored during the war, and we've got some industrial projects to do. So that also is on the cards. But I think one thing we can do for now is to begin reforming the Cossack hosts. So let's get that underway. And yes, obviously we have the Ukrainian activity, so I do need to deploy some troops to these regions here, so we can begin operations. I'm also going to begin deploying our operatives to start rooting out resistance in these respective areas, because let's see how close we can get them to each other before they start interfering with each other. So if you have too many people, it becomes a little bit suspicious, but I think we can deploy a fair few of them to ensure that resistance in the occupied territories does not get out of hand here. And one here, one's to Sevastopol. Have I not taken I haven't done the anti-partisan, so that's something we can immediately do. get that underway. We still have exiled divisions, and yeah, those will be returning to expeditionary forces. They will be returning back home. So that's underway. I'm going to. I am going to. Well, we'll leave it on the market. There's still some old aircraft, but I don't think anyone's ever going to purchase these. So we'll just leave that as it is. Fengtian is actually trying to purchase them, so we'll leave that as is. But yeah, modernization is going to come. So the stockpiles of equipment are going to come in useful when it comes to modernizing the Russian army. German East Asia, after the war, is the only remaining colony. Has signed the peace deal, but we are going to begin trading with. We trade with the Indian Federation for now, because they have, I think, taken over Ceylon, so we can trade for some rubber with our comrades in India. And yeah, we've got a fair few other things to deal with, specifically the resistance in the occupied territories. So I'm going to go through, given that this seems to be what the game has offered in terms of liberation. I'm going to go through for now, and we'll keep occupying it. Maybe it's a matter of reaching a certain amount of resistance or compliance before the game offers to liberate the territories. And otherwise, I'll go through with the console and deal with things that way. Okay, I've set military governors, or in the case of Ukraine, yeah, military governors everywhere. So that should get Ukrainian resistance down without too much trouble, especially in the heavily resisting targets. We might have to implement other measures, but the Ukrainian uprising should be dealt with, and we will look eventually at probably dividing Ukraine into east and west, but we will see how we're going to go about that. So the next thing, I do need to reorganize these armies now that they are in various states of disarray, and actually bring them somewhere. For now, I do need some troops in Ukraine, so we're going to get Kazagrandi's second army, which I think is relatively close by, and they can do. Where is it? There we go. We can do some area defense in the Ukrainian areas. That should deal with. Just focus on victory points. That should deal with with the security situation as well. So we're going to give him that task, and then we'll see if we can do something about the unrest here once these troops are actually in their respective places. And for that, I am going to need them to. I think I'm going to need them, where was it? Over in Brest-Litovsk or somewhere similar. So we're going to get them redeployed by train there, and then we'll deal with the situation from there on out. Okay, and I'm going to start reorganizing the rest of the troops into a more coherent whole. All right, next up, we are going to design ourselves a new guards division. So I'm going to duplicate this, and these will be mechanized. So instead of we'll have mechanized infantry instead of regular infantry. See if I have enough army XP. Should be enough. And then they will be using armored support companies. So we might actually design at some point. We'll go with mobile combat support for now. So motorized artillery, and I think I had a motorized anti-air. There we go. Because why is the max speed 4 kilometers? Is that because of the flame tanks? No, that wasn't because of the flame tanks. Mechanized infantry should be faster than that. So I'm not entirely certain why they are. What's the division equipment? Let's have a look. What if we apply older? No, that doesn't change it either. Is it anti-air support equipment? Is it a super heavy howitzer? No. These are support companies. They shouldn't matter. I'm not entirely certain why that only has a 4 kilometers max speed. That should be faster. I might check that, play around with it a little bit, and see if that fixes itself. Okay, for whatever reason, I have not managed to get the speed of these divisions up above 4 kilometers an hour. So I may as well put the self-propelled artillery and the self-propelled anti-air in here. And this will become the new mechanized guards division. So let's see if we can convert a few of our existing divisions over into that. Let's see if I can convert some of. I could convert some of the foot infantry over to that, or we could take the light tanks from. We could take the light tanks. Where are they? Here. Stefan's light tanks and convert them over. But I'm thinking of maintaining those actually, because they are not bad. Max speed's still too low, but that's because of the terrain for that particular division. So we'll see what we do with those. But alternatively, I can change some of the existing troops over. Let's see what that would look like. Don't quite have enough equipment at this point. But what we can do alternatively is we can take 8 of these and fill back Stefan's 6th Army. But yeah, that might not be a terrible idea either. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn these over to Stefan, and then these for now will be converted into mechanized guards divisions. And then with that, I think we have some exercises that we can still do. But everybody should be pretty much trained up. Yeah. So anybody who isn't completely trained up can still run some exercises now that the war is over. And then we will see. We will see what we do next. So I have a trait that's the naval aircraft designer, a trait to do. So we could give them experimental radar. That would be better for against submarines, or improved sights. Here we've got range, 30% range, but more fuel usage. That's fine. We'll give them... actually, I can't take these yet because these are dependent traits, actually. Okay, I have to take this one first, it seems to be. Invest a random path in country at random intervals, constructing different buildings. Okay. Sure. That's the oddest trait that I've seen so far, but I'll take it. So that's one, and then we've got Osavia for close air support. That is maximum speed and range, and that's reliability and agility. Give me range. We've got anything? Oh, we've got a few more to take by the looks of it. The last one here, we got a production efficiency cap, or yeah, we'll take production efficiency cap. Let's get that out of the way. Do we have another one? Or is this? No, we have no trade points. Why is this still in the list? That's odd. We've got one here. This one is, what did we use that for? Transport aircraft, I believe. So that would be transport plane production efficiency cap, efficiency gain minus 20%. I have to start up here anyway. So that's production efficiency cap. So let's do that. And we've got Obukov, I think, still. No, we did that one as well. So this should be, yeah, that's gone. All right, cleared up, and that's dealt with. We've got a few facilities that aren't in use, so I'm going to ignore that for now. We've still got a few exiled divisions we're going to have to deal with, and we're not decrypting anybody's cipher. And we have I think we have to change the transport aircraft to the G9. Or did it automatically? No, it automatically changed. Didn't I research a new one? Let's have a quick look. I thought we had a new... Oh no, it was the G5. So that's the one we want. Okay. So let's do that. Transport aircraft, G5, improved transport plane. Yeah, why is the interwar transport plane still there? Let's replace that. Okay. Convert everything that you can. Convert old equipment and captured equipment just to reduce the overall load on things. And with that, I think, convert everything you can. With that, I think we've organized that particular part. And yeah, I will see what the situation will, how the situation will present itself once we have reorganized everything somewhat sensibly. And I think most of the frontline armies at this point we'll leave some occupation troops in. We'll leave Pepelagiev's Third Army around Austria, just to make sure that troops are present. And we've still got a small force from Jostowski that can actually move towards the Finnish border for now, just in case anything unpleasant happens over there. So let's move these north. And the armored troops for now are going to return to the home area. We've got the Kappel's 12th Army. They can guard for now the northern states here, and just make sure that nothing weird is going on. And we've got the Ungarn Sternberg's 5th. They can for now stay in the southern regions, where we will see where they can acclimatize themselves with things. And we will eventually have to reorient towards the east if that becomes necessary. But for now, we'll leave the troops in an occupation capacity across Europe. We've got more. Here we go. We've got more decisions to take. Great. So now we can deal with this. Austria. We can. What do we got? We have a few options here. We can liberate the Austrian Republic. We can restore Habsburg rule. We can liberate a united Danubian Republic, or we can grant it to Germany. We definitely don't want to do that. So this would just lower Austria, Upper Austria, and North Tyrol for Austrian Republic. This would be much larger. So I think we'll just liberate the Austrian Republic. We definitely want to have a smaller Austria. East Prussia. What is going to happen to East Prussia? We will do an East Prussian state. This is, like I said, smaller states are much easier to control. Lithuania is going to be, we could assimilate. We could assimilate Lithuania, but that's not what we went here for. We went here to liberate the Baltic states. So we will liberate Lithuania, Republic of Lithuania. The same goes for Estonia. They shall be liberated as well. We've got Saxony. Saxony goes to North Germany. Upper Silesia over here. Upper Silesia, that is, if we grant that to Poland, we give it to Prussia, because that is going to cause trouble otherwise. We have Flanders. Flanders should be over here. So we can liberate Flanders. And that, we'll do that. We'll create a new Flanders state, which is liberated in Europe. We've got Posen, that is all, they are basically German territory, and we might hand that over to Prussia as well. We We could use the Poles to occupy it, but then we talk about reprisals and all kinds of things. So for now, we'll hand it to the Prussians. Lwów, what can we do about that? That goes to Poland. So they will take care of the Polish-controlled or Polish-claimed territory. We've got Brest, which is where we have fought vicious battles. That is actually claimed by Ukraine, but let's see what we can do here. We can grant it to Poland, or we can integrate it. What do we do? I was actually hoping that we get an option to liberate the Western Ukraine, but we might actually have to deal with that situation first with the resistance on the ground. So we could assimilate Brest into Brest-Litovsk into Russian territory, but I'm hoping that we can still do something with Belarus. So I might actually do nothing with that for now. We'll leave that as is for now. We'll get back to that later. The Rhineland might go to... Oh, can we liberate it? Okay, the beating heart of the German industry, foundation of the Prussian dominance, and a brutal stage for the Second Weltkrieg. Rhineland is in some respects the place most responsible for the horrors of the 20th century. Consequently, some advisors in our government have recommended detaching the Rhineland from Germany and even imposing massive reparations to depower the nation. On the other hand, with the war so recently over, it is unlikely that Germany could threaten us again anytime soon, and they might be a far more capable ally and economic partner with rather than without the foundries of the Ruhr. Whatever we decide, it would be wise to do so quickly, for the longer we occupy, the more our resources it will absorb. Yes, we are not going to enforce harsh reparations, because that only leads to an impoverished populace, resentment, and the rise of revanchism. We could form a German republic, but no, I'm thinking just to release a Rhinish state on its own. There we go. We've got North Schleswig. We'll see if we can either return that to Prussia or ideally to Denmark. But yeah, granted to Denmark. One of the first victims of Prussian imperialism was the Danish-speaking province of Northern Schleswig. Yep, granted to Denmark. There you go. Danish People's Republic will take care of that. And we have Papua in the far Pacific. Now, having a Pacific outpost would not be terrible, but we do have... having a Pacific outpost would not be terrible, but it would be once again a colonial decision. So I think instead we will release Papua New Guinea as an independent nation, and we can operate. I'm sure they will allow us to operate from their territory if the necessity should arise. So that's another batch of territory. We still got. We might still be getting the. Some Prussian territory to deal with here, but apparently things happen on their own time. So where are my troops that are underway? And we've still got the Central European areas to deal with as well. Persia is aggressively justifying against Muscat. Okay. Well, Persia, if you have, we advise against this, but we will see where this goes. All right, Luxembourg next up. Luxembourg will be ideally we could store our pickled herring. We could ask the Swedish if they wanted to store their pickled herring there. Comment if you understood that reference. For centuries, the Luxembourg question troubled the great powers. After the Weltkrieg and 25 years of German rule, few of the Luxembourgish people have aspirations for independence. And in the era of syndicalism, close air support, and cryptologic decryption, Any mention of the Salic law has been met not so much with contempt as bafflement. The Grand Duchy of Luxembourg will not return to the map of Europe. However, there's also no need to return it to Germany. Luxembourg was part of both France and then Belgium little more than a century ago without complaint, and should be a decision serve our foreign policy, there is little doubt that Luxembourg would cause no trouble with us this time either. We could give it to the Rhinish Republic, which kind of makes sense, because giving it to the French would cause all kinds of trouble there. We'll give it to the Rhinish Republic. We have Bohemia to deal with. So Bohemia, the ancient heartland of the Czechs, had been conquered by our victorious forces. The venerable gem of the Vltava River, Prague, is occupied by our troops who parade smartly across Wenceslas Square. Should we prop up a Czech government loyal to the designs of our own state, or maintain this splendid military occupation? No. We will liberate a Czech state. So Czechia has been liberated. And we've got Alsace-Lorraine. Let's see what we can do with that. That generally probably is going to be requested by the French, but we will see what we can do this. Since the capitulation of our last remaining enemies in Europe, our military administration has governed the territories of Alsace and Lorraine, long contested by Germany and France with martial law. With peace comes expectations of change, however, and envoys from Strasbourg, often accompanied by imperious French ambassadors, have been seen in the hallways of power in Moscow, hoping to pressure stressed bureaucrats into restoring the mostly German-speaking territory to France before anyone in our administration has time to sit down and fully consider the matter. Should we indulge their requests? Is Alsace once and for all German, or should we give the Alsatians a few good years of Russian occupation before considering the matter properly when the world situation best permits it? We could I don't want to maintain a buffer state before that, but I think we can probably everyone has so if we hand it to the French, then we are. Yeah, I don't like that. But if we hand it to the Germans, the French might have a good reason to start another war. Well, it has been under German occupation for most of the time. And I think it probably... ideally, I'd release it independently and make it a neutral state. I'll do nothing with it for now. We'll keep it under occupation for the time being. South Tyrol probably should go to the Italians or to the Austrians. I think the Austrians have that claimed, so we'll give it to the Austrians for now. Hungary, we will liberate Hungary, and with thus make an end to the endless squabbles of the old dual monarchy. We've got Stanislavov, which is about here. No, not the air zone. Polish claims. So Galician area probably should go back under Polish control. We'll grant that to Poland. So Republic of Poland retains control over Galicia. Masuria, that would be over there. That probably Lithuania or Belarus. I might give that to Belarus, actually, if we can create Belarus. Let's see. No, we can grant it to Masuria. I don't know. That should not go to either of them. Polish allies or East Prussian? No. We'll do nothing for now. This should probably be part of the Belarusian Republic once that actually comes into being. Vilnius, what can we do with Vilnius? Vilnius is... sorry, was I looking? Oh, I was looking... dang it. I was looking at the wrong place. Yep, that should have actually gone probably... that should have gone to East Prussia, yeah. We'll do that when it pops up again. I hope it does pop up again. Vilnius, actually, that should go to probably to Belarus or to Lithuania, but I prefer it in Belarus if that's an option. Let's see, Vilnius. We could give it to Lithuania or to Poland. No, we'll do nothing for now. Memel should probably go to. We'll give it to we might give it to Lithuania, such that they have because that's an area where fighting has been some of the fiercest. We'll give it to Lithuania for now, and that leaves Verviers, wherever that is. That is that's this bit over here. That can go to the Rhineland. All right, so that's out of the way. Whew. Reorganization starting to come together here, and but in the meantime, we are dealing with the Cossack privileges. So that was a situation that we haven't dealt with for a long time, and yeah, we've got a few more things to sort out here. Russian Cossacks roam the southern and eastern extremes, descending from military settlers in the steppe regions, unique in culture but undoubtedly Russian. The hosts were given official autonomous status by the 1922 Constitution as a reward for their heroic efforts in the Civil War. Even though the Cossacks did not form ethnic majorities anywhere else outside their own villages, they generally own most of the land in the hosts, and though political power and education access form a privileged class compared to the common Russian tenant farmers and city dwellers. In exchange, the Cossacks serve in the army under their host Atman, often being the first ones to be sent to quell regional unrest, be it in the North Caucasus, Turkestan, or general civil unrest. To many, the Cossacks represent a remnant of the old aristocratic militarist imperial area the garrison stayed under Nikolai I. Others view Cossackdom as an integral part of Russia, a regional identity that must be supported. Despite any political or social questions, it must be admitted that Cossacks serve as a useful, quick-to-deploy force against domestic unrest, which may be useful to any regime, regardless of our idealism. We could abolish the Cossack hosts. That would cost us some stability. We could increase the amount of Cossack hosts. I think this is these? These are the Cossack forces. I think the idea to deploy a specific group to quell uprisings is a part of the past. So I think we'll abolish that, and they can retain their regional identity, but the militaristic inclusion as an imperial sort of thug squad, black shirts, we'll deal with that. We'll do away with that. That is going to annoy the right wing, but hopefully we'll get out of the. Hopefully we will get out of that with once the triumph of the restored empire triggers, then we'll get rid of all these anger factors anyway. So no, we will abolish them. That deals removes the template and these divisions, and they can return to their homelands rather than being used to quell unrest. All right, more states that need to be dealt with. We've got the Burgenland over here, which is Austrian. Yeah, that should be Austrian. So grant that to Austria. We've got Slovakia, which should be liberated. So liberate Slovakia. We've got Transylvania, which I think. Is that its own thing? Let's see if we can liberate we can liberate Transylvania. So that they've been squabbling about this, which means we'll liberate it. So Transylvania becomes its own state now. We have a little state here in the north, which belongs to Czechia. So we'll grant that to Czechia. And we have Croatia, which should be liberated as well. So Croatia is liberated. We've still got a few occupied territories, but it is getting fewer and fewer. So we'll eventually get through all of that. We can, with the threat of war seemingly distant, people are no longer willing to accept the hardship of wartime law. Yes, we want to demobilize the economy. We get 75 political power and we go back to partial mobilization. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So let's do that. The economy has been demobilized. We're going back to partial mobilization and and we'll reduce the conscription as well as we go. So with that, do we have anything else? We have. I think this is all economic, isn't it? Finland, this is the economic decisions, industrialization of Turkestan, and this is, we can cancel all that. We don't need to create new agents at this point. Yeah, we have a few economic decisions that need to be taken. And I might as well, I'm going to save up political power to reduce the conscription to get up to free trade. So I would like Russia to open up for free trade. So we're going to save up political power for that for the time being. I think all of the rest is other stuff. So for now we don't have to do anything there. Can we, however, where were the Ukrainian pacification things? Okay, these troops are still on the move, so we are going to have to wait until they make their way there. We can invite all these new states to the Moscow Economic Council, so that'll be ongoing. And I think, we can return some lands that we'll still occupy. So we'll return Austrian lands. Yep, that'll be going. Croatian lands, that'll reduce that for us. We've got some East Prussian lands that we're currently occupying, so that East Prussia takes care of that. Slovakia, that'll probably be these parts here, so we'll return these lands as well. Lithuania is having. I was hoping that we can get Belarus to exist. Is there a focus for that? Okay, that appears to be down here. So it seems that we can. Yeah, we can deal with that later. However, yeah, so I might leave that, but Transylvanian lands we will return that. And with that, I think we have most of that all sorted. There's still 3 available decisions that are living somewhere. We don't need to patronize new churches at this point. And we can't do the anti-partisan yet because we're still waiting for the troops to actually arrive. So still, right now, everything gets reorganized. And we have more fates to deal with. Let's see. Montenegro, the fate of Montenegro. We will liberate the Montenegrine Republic. Bosnia shall be liberated as a Bosnian state. Slovenia shall be liberated. And that is Suceava. Okay. Who has claims on this? This is Galicia and Ludomania. So this is Polish, right? So, but I can grant it to either Transylvania or Romania. Okay. In which case, we might. Yeah, I have honestly no idea where this belongs. We'll grant it to Romania for now, which, yeah, we'll grant it to Romania, and then that is that part. And then we have so we've got Alsace-Lorraine still. We've got Brest and Vilnius. These I'm holding back. Alsace-Lorraine, yeah, I'm not entirely certain what we're going to do with Alsace-Lorraine just yet. We'll maintain occupation there for now, just to. So these three I'm going to decide later. And can I return any more lands? I think, yeah, we've got Lithuanian lands that we are holding. Which one would that be? Yeah, we'll just return it. There we go. Vilnius goes back as the capital of Lithuania, and with Minsk will be the capital of Belarus once we create it. All right, so that's dealt with, and that means I just have to wait for these troops to for the troops to arrive here before I can begin taking some. Before I can begin dealing with the. We've got a few more still. Dealing with the Ukrainian unrest, I just need the troops in the territory. They're almost there. So once they are deployed, then we will deal with that. Meanwhile, where on earth is that? Where is Mura? That's is it this bit here? Yes. Slovenia, but the Slovenia can't get it. So it has to be Hungary or Austria. We'll give it to Hungary. All right, dealt with. We have Kotor. Where is Kotor? Down here. Who has claim on that? Montenegro, and I bet we can't give it to Montenegro. So let's see what we can do. Yes, we can. Okay, that goes to Montenegro. And we have Gorizia. Gorizia, which should be up here. That is probably Slovenia, actually. Slovenian claims, interestingly enough. So let's see if we can give that to Slovenia. Gorizia, yeah, we'll give that to Slovenia. All right. Okay, we have a few more countries to invite to the Economic Council. And I think now, and we've got some more lands that we're actually holding. So that will be all returned. And with that, I think we have Europe mostly reorganized. We have stood by our promise to liberate Eastern Europe. Germany has been broken up. The fate of Alsace-Lorraine is to be decided. The French being aggressive about it doesn't particularly suit me. But I think mostly the peoples have been liberated. We still got to do Ukraine and Belarus. But all in all, I would argue that Russia has held on to her promises. We have, free civilian factories. So I think I'm going to start with building up infrastructure all across Russia and generally start focusing more on a smaller but more high-tech army. And eventually we might have to deal with the Chinese situation and the Japanese Fengtian government, because we have heard that even though I think Nanjing has traded sides a few times, but we have heard that terrible massacres have been committed, and as a direct neighbor, we have a direct interest in this. But this is all part of the focus tree, so we'll have to go through a lot of reorganization first before that's going to happen. Right. Second Army divisions have arrived in the Ukrainian problematic territories. So we'll begin anti-partisan activities, which is going to start dealing with the resistance. We are still short a few. Divisions. We should actually have enough here. I'm going to leave some around. Can we? We still. Oh, we can't do the anti-partisan because the resistance is too high. So the resistance needs to come down. Yeah, resistance is coming down, so we will have to wait until these become available. French Republic wishes to have docking rights on our ports. No, I'm going to decline that for now. And yeah, Persia is, we still have some exiled divisions here. These should all be returning home. I am not entirely certain why they are still under our control, because these are expeditionary forces. They should be returning back. So I think the only thing that we've got left here is recruitment decisions. Yes. Okay, we've cleared it. Yay. So now I can begin organizing the civilian industry. And like I said, Russia has to begin an army modernization program, and we will have to deal with the Japanese situation. I might actually begin deploying some forces to East Asia. So I'll prioritize the buildup of infrastructure in East Asia. And we have, I think, we've got a once we are through with all of these focuses, then things might come to pass still in other ways. Okay, we have a long queue of infrastructure development, mostly in the eastern states, which is going to improve the standard of living across the much neglected regions and help building a more unified empire. And we've also got a massive amount of railway projects going on, which is going to allow us to transport goods between the eastern regions, sparsely populated, and the European heartland of Russia. So with that, we have the tasks for the next years ahead, but the conflict with Japan, between Japan and China, might be one that will need to be decided with force of arms if it comes to that. But for now, peace negotiations will continue.